What is up? Welcome back to the Next Guy Up podcast. Feels like a holiday today, like Christmas Eve. We are college football is upon us.
It's
We
here.
are
It
we are
started.
less than a week. It is true. Week 0 has officially started, kicked off. There were some fireworks in Ireland. It was pretty smoky for about a half, and there's like 4 fumbles to start, which I feel like is appropriate for college football.
Yeah.
To start the season off in Ireland with the worst possible weather, and just like no one couldn't even hold on to the ball. Turned into a pretty fun game in the second half, so we might talk about that a little bit. Losing quarterback's dad gets in a fight, and I mean that's not college football. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And NFL preseason wrapped up, and so was that right? Did it wrap up?
Yes, finally.
It's close.
I mean, as much as everyone's like, "Oh, I can't believe we went from 4 games to 3." Blah blah blah. It's like now we need to just go to 2. No,
Yeah.
hardly any teams really played. There's some teams did. Just do 2, and let's just stop because it's bad.
Yeah, it's some teams I feel like didn't play, like maybe started to play just the last game or whatever.
The Jags didn't play a ton. I know the Dolphins yesterday, they had like their starting offense and defense for a while. The Broncos starters played the whole first half because Bo Nix was dicing up some kids.
The third stringers.
Yeah, these guys are like fighting for practice squad spots, and Bo Nix is out there throwing 50-yard touchdowns to the Cam Sutton. Just like, what? Come on, leave these guys alone.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's because some teams are like, we need these reps, and some teams are just like, we literally just don't injure anyone. Like,
yeah,
we're good here. We don't need this. So, but that happened. And so NFL is upon us as well. Yes. Fantasy season is here. Tins and I were just talking about our fantasy draft coming up.
Yeah, as all the fans of the show know, we've been in a league together now for 10 years. Mason's in it too. We tried our best. Mason. Yeah, shout out Mason. He's in Alaska.
Our fantasy expert's not here.
It's all right. Shout out Mason because he doesn't like to give out fantasy information. He guards it like it's a national secret because he doesn't want to give away his secrets. I remember last year I tried to get him to like give out fantasy advice and was trying to get him to do some fantasy content, and he was like, I don't know, I have some, he had some sleepers he didn't want to share.
Yeah, he's very serious about it. I feel like I might have sniped one of his picks though after I told him I wouldn't. Did I do that on accident?
I think so, yeah.
I remember something.
He got mad.
There's a guy who he said he liked it in the pod, and then I took him ahead of him. He wasn't too happy about that.
Well, he'll be.
You know what? Right. It's got to happen sometimes. You put yourself out here on a podcast. Everyone's listening.
Well, that's what he wanted to avoid. Is us sniping his picks from his brain.
It's probably fair. But we do have our fantasy draft coming up, so you start thinking about that a little bit too. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone that listens to this is also a big fantasy football player. It's fun. I'm doing a fantasy draft now with my UPS guys. Shout out to those guys. Some of you guys are really bad at this. Someone took Lamar Jackson and Jameson Williams in the first 2 rounds. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Maybe it won't be that crazy.
Maybe I'm crazy for thinking they're crazy.
Sometimes the people who just really aren't that good and just kind of do what ESPN says to do are the people who end up with the best teams.
Right.
We've talked about doing auto draft as a punishment before, and I was like, that's maybe not a bad idea. I wonder how my season would turn out with an auto draft. Probably not that bad.
No, it can't be that bad.
Unless you get somebody that's like injured or something and you miss that. That could happen, I guess. Wouldn't be the first time for me. So we do have some college football talk coming today. We have the last 3 teams of our SEC preview. If you've been following us, we have talked about 13 of these 16 teams so far. We've got 3 left, and it is your teams that are projected at the top of the league. So I'm pretty excited about that discussion. I think it's going to be good. Speaking of the SEC 10s, we had some news this
Mhm.
week drop. Uh, the SEC has long been talked down upon for the 8-game SEC schedule.
Right.
And they have agreed to move to 9 games as long as the strength of schedule metric is being considered by the playoff committee, which they apparently seem is going to be more. And so starting next year, SEC is moving to 9 SEC games with 3 constant games year after year. Basically, you'll play every team every other year, and then you'll visit every other stadium every 4th year at least. Once every 4 years, you will play every stadium. So, Tinge, you got any thoughts on that one?
I think it's good for the league. I think it helps us get more teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it could for sure.
And it kind of gets rid of that middle of the season. Alabama's playing Mercer, or something like that, where people like to point at that for SEC schedules being overrated.
And they added in the additional stipulation that they have to have at least one of their 3 non-conference games has to be against a Power 4 opponent. So you can't just have 3 straight cupcakes. You have to at least play a Power 4 team. I mean, that could include Syracuse, or it could include. I mean, there's some pretty bad Power 4 teams out there, but it at least makes you have to be competitive. So I think it will probably just be that homecoming slot for a lot of SEC teams that they tend to schedule very bad teams in that homecoming slot. In that last quarter of the season, I think that will probably get replaced by an SEC game now. So
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting thought. I think it'll make for some really fun games. I mean, some teams will get to play each other that haven't played traditionally all that often.
Yeah.
I think some teams will lose a rivalry game potentially. Tennessee will lose some rivalry game. It's looking like, from what I've seen, probably Tennessee will lose Georgia as an every year opponent.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, what a bummer. I mean, everyone's kind of guessing, and then some people. I mean, no one really knows for sure yet. But a lot of people are saying Tennessee will have Alabama, Florida, and Vanderbilt as
Vandy.
their
That's fine.
3. So it's pretty balanced. I think they really want to try and balance those out, so no one's, or else some teams would have 3 just juggernauts, and some would have Vandy, Mississippi State, Kentucky, or whatever. And then all of a sudden, your schedule is not balanced anymore. So
It's like that sounds like Ole Miss's rivals.
I think Ole Miss actually does have some pretty soft rivals.
I think it's Mississippi State, LSU,
Ole
and
Miss might have LSU though. Yeah,
still having Mississippi State the way they've been the last few years. Plus, I think they get Kentucky and
it's probably
Missouri as
Kentucky.
2 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Missouri's was comically bad. Is like Arkansas, probably Oklahoma,
and
and
Kentucky probably
Kentucky.
because they're
Yeah,
close.
it was pretty soft. Yeah. But pretty interesting. I think they'll announce those at some point this season over the course as we go. But I mean, Tennessee will drop off some opponent they've played every year for a long time. So I just don't see it being Alabama or Florida. So I
Yeah,
think
too long
Georgia's
of
the
a
only one that makes
tradition.
sense. And the in-state with Vandy. Vandy just doesn't have that many rivals. So I think that is pretty clear as well.
You know what? I think I'm okay with having to play Georgia every year. That's
It's
fine.
not the worst thing for the schedule for sure. Yeah, we haven't beat them in a long time. So since 2016, actually. And it's like a Hail Mary. Okay, so do you want to just knock out these 3 teams really
Yeah,
fast?
yeah.
So
I'm
these 3
excited to hear about
teams
them.
are at the top of the SEC. They're over under win total. Last year there were some 10.5 teams. This year there are no 10.5 over under win totals. The highest 3 are all 9.5. So already you can see Vegas kind of leaning towards that projection of the best teams in the SEC will be 10-win teams probably.
Yeah.
There could be an 11-1 team pop in, but you're going to see that. The interesting thing is all 3 of these teams actually play each other. throughout the course of this year. So it will get proven on the field. And so those games are going to be big, but they all also have losable games elsewhere. I guess we can go. Let's just go ahead and start off. Well, we'll go from the bottom up. I think Alabama's at the bottom of this group of three. Some people would say Georgia's at the bottom of this. Um, I just don't believe that. It's hard for me to say that Alabama and call it like an SEC bias against, which sounds weird, against DeBoer and his staff. I just haven't seen anything from Alabama that tells me that they are just on this trajectory towards greatness right now. I don't think they're going to be bad. I just think people are getting pretty ahead of themselves on looking at this team. I mean, they've got a great roster. They've got the pieces. But DeBoer and his staff is just going to have to prove to me that they are going to be able to beat the best in the country. And I'm just not sure. Ty Simpson named official quarterback. Obviously, Ryan Williams, a huge name wide receiver, Heisman hopeful
Zach, did
there.
you know he was 17 last year?
He's 18 now. He kind of jumped onto the stage in a big way in the Georgia game where he made some incredible plays. And then but Bama's season last year is very odd. I mean, they beat Georgia, but then they had some really bad losses. They lost to Tennessee. They lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Oklahoma. They still almost made the playoff. The thing about SEC play is you just can't lose those games if you want to make it to the top. It's what it is. And so, quickly looking at their schedule, they start off with a very interesting game at Florida State on Saturday. This is whenever this was scheduled. I can imagine this was scheduled as a top 10 type game.
Yeah.
No one was anticipating Florida State was going to have 2 wins last year. But here Florida State is hosting a top 10 Alabama team who is supposed to be competing for a national championship this year in a very, very interesting matchup. Tins and I were talking about this Florida State team before. They have a transfer at quarterback from Boston College, Thomas Castellanos.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have some great talent. Like it's one of those teams where the talent is there. Maybe not at quarterback, I'm not sure. Gavin Sawchuk at running back. The guys are there, I think. It's a question of the real question is like what happened last year? Like and can they recover? Is there a potential that they could totally come out and just flip the switch and be like, last year literally just didn't happen, and we're just going to start fresh? I mean, maybe. I hope so. I hope they give Bama a fun fight. Just because it's kind of a preview, that's a 13.5-point spread in that game towards Bama. At Florida State, in Tallahassee, not an easy place to play at all, especially if it's a fun game. A fan base that had a very bad season last year and looking to turn it around early. So I like the Florida State in that line, to be honest with you. So
I did until then we found out who the transfer quarterback was. This is a kid who was not great at Boston College.
Yeah.
He is like, this is a meme that gets put out there quite a bit, that he is the Walmart Great Value version of Kyler Murray.
That's not great.
He's pretty short, likes to run around too much, and turns the ball over quite a lot. I don't know. That's I wanted to take Florida State until I saw that he was the quarterback.
Yeah, that could be true. I honestly did not watch much Florida State last year. I did not watch much Boston College last year for sure. He was benched against Syracuse, which is not great news. I just think that Bama is walking into a little bit of a trap here. I think Florida State is going to be a pretty hostile environment. Um, I think Bama wins. I'm not sure it's a close game, but 13 and a half points was that's a lot of points on the road in college football against a major program. I'm sure they're going to want to make a statement game here, Alabama is, but I'm just not sure it's going to happen. So, okay, so the rest of the schedule, let's quickly look at it. They play LA Monroe, Louisiana Monroe, and actually Wisconsin. So they've got two pretty big Power 4 games there in their non-conference. Wisconsin, I think, is pretty mediocre. Maybe won't even make a bowl game this year. So I think Bama wins that one. But
Which is tough because Wisconsin, when they hired that coach from Cincinnati, he had just taken Cincinnati to, right? They made the playoffs, didn't they?
who?
Or I can't think of his name. The Wisconsin's coach. Um, he was the coach when they had Desmond Ritter. They were undefeated. I think they made the play. Yeah, they made the playoffs and got absolutely smoked against Georgia.
Okay.
Anyway, you would think Wisconsin by now would have already been bounced back, but yeah, I see that was supposed to be a better home and away series for
Yes.
Wisconsin Alabama, but it's not turned out to be that way.
Agree. Wisconsin not looking great. So then after that, it gets pretty serious pretty fast. They travel to Georgia to play. So I've got 3 wins so far for Alabama. They go to Georgia. So let's just highlight some big games. We'll keep moving through it. They play Vanderbilt at Alabama. They go to Missouri. They play Tennessee at in Alabama. They travel to South Carolina. What could be a fun game? They play LSU at home. They play Oklahoma at home. They play Eastern Illinois, and then they travel to Auburn in the Iron Bowl. I feel like their away schedule is actually pretty soft, all things considered. They have to go
Yeah,
to Georgia, and they have to go to Missouri, and they have to go to Auburn, South Carolina. Maybe not. So we're looking for 10 wins here, which means we're looking for how many losses they're going to have is really what the math we're doing. I think the games that are in question here, let's talk about Georgia. We can do Missouri, at Missouri, at South Carolina, hosting LSU, hosting Oklahoma. Let's talk about those. I guess those 5 games are the ones I consider to be pretty close.
the
So that's
swings.
7.
Yeah,
We got 7 wins. I'm giving them the Tennessee game. They're pretty big favorites. I think that would be a pretty big upset if Tennessee could pull that off. In Tuscaloosa. So we've got
tempering expectations this year.
definitely. So let's call home against Oklahoma. I'll call that a win. I don't know what Oklahoma's going to look like at that point in the season, but you have a feeling that I don't know. That could be interesting, but I think Alabama wins that. So that's going to be
Yeah,
8 wins. At Georgia is going to be very tough for Bama to win that game. I'm going to call that a loss, I think.
I'm with you there.
I'm going to call at Missouri a win probably, but who knows? I mean, Missouri is so weird I don't know. So really it's going to come down to the last 2 games. They're going to South Carolina. They're hosting LSU.
I will say this really quick: if we can be right about Missouri, we could be rich. I feel like me and you are the only people in America trying to break down Missouri as hard as we are. Like I feel like we took their team win total over, and I feel
Yeah.
like we just bet against them every week. Something will happen, right? Like
Yeah, I don't like them, but I do feel like their schedule is so easy that they're going to win games probably.
right, exactly, and
I
that's
don't
why
like
like
them at all.
if
Yeah.
Alabama had a better quarterback situation, walking like I don't know, I feel like they Missouri, that's like a 50-50 game in my head just because of what we've talked about. The
It
whole
definitely could be.
SEC, I feel
Yeah.
like the whole SEC this year is like in a weird quarterback spot, except for Sellers, but who knows with him? Like he could be good, he could be just whatever. um, Nussmeier. Like, there's not like this clear cut future top 5 draft pick in this year's draft in the SEC. I say in this year's draft because I'm not counting Arch. And honestly, I mean, we're going to talk about it, but we don't know anything about Arch yet. He's not been a starter
True.
for very long.
Very true. Yeah, all three of these really have a lot of unknowns at quarterback, which is not true. Some of the teams we talked about so far, but these three teams projected at the top have the most talent top to bottom, but quarterback is pretty unknown, all things considered. So maybe I should wait till the end of this to give my actual over-unders. So they go to South Carolina to Williams-Brice in October 25th. That's gonna be that could be a very fun game. That could be a huge game, honestly. And then they host LSU. You hope that's a good game. LSU could have imploded by then, and Brian Kelly could be like on the verge of getting fired.
Yeah, they have Coach O back as interim just to finish the season.
That's a possibility. Or LSU has one loss and is playing into a playoff spot. It's like one of two ways.
Competing for Heisman. Yeah,
they either have like 4 losses already, and they're like, yeah, it's one of the two. So, okay, I'm gonna do all these first, and then we'll come back around and I'll give my final over.
All right.
Okay, let's do Georgia next. Georgia, I mean, it is what it is with them at this point. I think it's the same story. They have a great, I think their defense is going to be very good. They've got talent top to bottom. They don't have as much of the showy talent. I think that's kind of a big piece. They, Gunnar Henderson at the quarterback position. Nope, Gunnar Stockton. Sorry. They do have Zachariah Branch, a wide receiver. I guess he is the big flashy name. And then they have Nate Frazier at running back. Gunnar Stockton, who did play a couple games last year, lost a couple games, and he lost the playoff game. Looked about what you'd expect for a Georgia quarterback, to be honest. It's kind of
maybe a little bit more of an athlete compared to guys we're used to.
He could be, yeah.
He's a little bit more of a runner.
I think that's true. Yeah. And so I just, again, talking about these top 3 teams is like you're talking about the teams with by and large the most, like far and away the most talent per person on the team. Highest blue chip ratios, the whole thing. Like it comes down to whose quarterback is going to play well, who's going to catch the most breaks, and what their schedule looks like. So let's go ahead and talk about Georgia's schedule. They start off with Marshall and Austin Peay. So we're going to give those wins. And then they travel to Neyland Stadium, 3rd game of the season, September 13th, the earliest it's been played in a very long time. And so actually they have a 5-game stretch. They do have a bye week in between there. 6-game stretch. Listen to this 6-game stretch for Georgia. At Tennessee, they host Alabama. They host Kentucky. They go to Auburn. They host Ole Miss. They go to Florida.
That's a tough stretch.
Then they get Mississippi State, and then they host Texas, number 1 Texas right now. So really, I mean, you could consider that those 8 games in the middle of the season. They have 2 gimmies to begin with and 2 gimmies at the end, potentially. But then they end with Georgia Tech, which Georgia Tech is getting hyped up as a potential giant killer over there in the ACC. So, and they almost were last year. They darn near did the thing against Georgia. So,
and Georgia always seems to struggle with Kentucky as well. Like
they beat Texas twice last season, but they have them on the schedule. So they play Texas and Alabama this year in the regular season. And then they will, if they win 10 or 11 games, they'll likely play one of those 2 teams again in the SEC championship game before going to the playoff. So, a really interesting schedule here. I mean, I think when it comes down to it, again, they play at Tennessee. Neyland Stadium will be electric, but I just don't think. I think they're pretty big favorites already in that game. We have the Alabama game. At Auburn could get frisky if Auburn's we've talked a lot about Auburn's team and how there's a lot of question marks there, but I mean, in Auburn, that could get fun.
I've responsibly put a 3-unit play on Auburn under wins.
That's fair. It could not be fun as well. That's very
Jackson
possible.
Arnold is really bad at playing quarterback. And that's a key part of winning football games.
You're not wrong about that. They host Ole Miss. Ole Miss, I think, will at least be a team that could beat you on their best day. They go to the Swamp. Always a tricky place to play. That's not true, is it? They play in
No, they play
Jacksonville.
in
Sorry,
Jacksonville.
you're
It's
right.
I mean,
As soon as I said it, I was like, "It's not right." Yeah, it's a neutral site, but they play
neutral
that
site.
game. And they host Texas. So the question is, do you see more than 2 losses on this schedule? Texas, Florida, Ole Miss, Auburn, Bama. Man, that's tough.
That's
There's the question really that we're asking is, do you think these 3 teams are going to just sweep everybody else? Like, do you think Georgia, Texas, and Alabama are a head above the rest of the SEC? Or do you think the Ole Misses, the LSUs, the Floridas, the Tennessees of the world can pull off some big upsets? I mean, that's the question you're asking. You're asking about these over. Like, there's a potential that all 3 of these teams go over 9.5 wins, right? There's a very real potential. Bama, Texas, and Georgia all hit over. But there's also, I mean, yeah, it's tricky. Okay, let's do our last team, and then we'll come back to these 3 and make some determinations. But the math is not hard. I wonder if you could bet that. You probably not. You couldn't bet that Bama, Texas, and Georgia all went over 10 wins, or all went over 9.5, huh? Okay. So our last team here is Texas, currently ranked number 1 in the AP poll. Not that means very much. They have Arch Manning coming in to play starting quarterback. Maybe one of the highest anticipated quarterback starts of all time. I don't know. You just don't see a lot of quarterbacks now that are this highly touted and have sat the bench and kind of waited their turn. But here we are. And so everyone is very excited to see what he does against Ohio State. In the premier matchup of week 1, Texas, Ohio State. I think we're going to do a little bit more of a preview, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. Huge playoff type matchup there in week 1. After that, Texas takes a break, though, and plays San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston. So we're looking for 10 wins here on Texas's schedule. They go to Florida next to the Swamp. They play in the Red River rivalry against Oklahoma. They go to Kentucky. They go to Mississippi State. They play Vanderbilt at home. Boy, what a 3-game stretch that is. That is actually pretty nice. They host Kentucky, host Mississippi State, or they go to Kentucky, go to Mississippi State, and then host Vanderbilt. And then they play Georgia after a bye week. And then they host Arkansas and host Texas A&M. What a schedule here. Obviously, whenever I was going through it, you heard the games that matter here. Texas's schedule feels easier than the other 2 we've talked about, though. Because especially if you consider that this Ohio State game, well, I guess we're talking about over-under wins. I was thinking about it in terms of SEC race. Ohio State tends, you said, was 2.5-point favorites. Tens, are you muted right now, or can I just not hear you?
So sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
Yeah, Texas was the underdog when this game first opened up, but Texas was the favorite.
Right.
They're now 2.5-point underdog. It's at Ohio State, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, that does go into the over win totals. That's a really hard out of conference game.
Will be a very, very fun game. Should be. I hope it's a fun game. I
I
would
do
like for that
too.
to be a very fun game. Yeah. It's at noon on Saturday, so it's kind of that first time slot. I hope it's a very, very fun game. So the other games that matter here for Texas, we are looking at going to the Swamp. Boy, if that's not like it's after a bye week for Texas, but that feels like a scary game if you're Texas right there.
Who do they play after that?
They
Could it be a
play,
trap game?
oh yeah, you want to know? They play Oklahoma.
Yep. Well, look ahead.
Um,
Even though Oklahoma's going to suck.
yes, since things Auburn and Oklahoma both just gonna be trash.
Yeah, pretty down on both of
And
those
LSU.
programs.
I think Texas is down on the whole SEC though, so
I am pretty, yeah, except for my guys over in South Carolina. I'm pretty high on them.
yeah.
And Missouri. But that's just because they're schedule
Just
merchants.
schedule merchants.
Nothing else. I may or may
Okay.
not have a Lenore Sellers Heisman and first overall draft pick future just laying around.
Wow.
And South Carolina over wins.
I like that.
I might have a little. I might be a Gamecock this fall.
Okay, so my opinion, you've got 4 games here that I think you're looking at. You're looking at Ohio State, you're looking at Florida on the road, you're looking at Georgia, you're looking at Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's your
Rivalry game.
4-game swing. Right there.
Obviously Oklahoma as well. Oklahoma can win that game. It's a big rivalry game, but man, my struggle is as I'm going through these 3, I kind of, it's hard for me to find 3 losses on one of these schedules.
Right. Outside
Texas,
of when they play each other.
the Texas Georgia game is going to be very big. It feels like the winner is going to be in the driver's seat for the SEC championship.
Yeah.
Bid. It's November 15th. It's at the end of the season. It's going to be a huge game. Okay. I think I'm going over for Texas. Over 9.5.
Okay. Yeah.
They may lose to Georgia. They may lose to Georgia and Ohio State and then win the rest.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good season. You feel
I
good
feel
about
like
that.
That's a pretty good. Like, I like the chances of that happening, especially if Arch lives up to what he's being billed to. And it's a Texas team full of talent. Yeah, they had a lot of guys go to the draft, but Sarkisian has built a very good, he's recruiting at a high level. It's getting replaced 5 stars with 5 stars every year.
You have to think that Arch is not going to be bad. I think at worst he's like pretty good. At best, he's great. But at worst, he's still like a top 5 SEC quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in a weird place with Arch.
We don't really know, but it's a guy who is highly touted, and now he's sat on the bench. He's learned. He's not a rookie coming in. You feel like he's going to be pretty good, but who knows?
There's a guy who breaks down and compares players on Twitter. I respect him quite a bit. He did one of Arch, and he compared who he thinks he looked like in college, and so now I have to like Arch Manning, I think.
Who was it?
It was a certain other quarterback who wears 16 with long hair, played in the ACC.
Okay, yeah.
So his mechanics, they're very similar. They're very similar builds. So
he's going to be a Colt, is what I've heard. Is that
true? We'll see. I think Arch is going to make sure he's going to wait to see who picks first overall before he declares where he's going to go, because he can come back to college.
Sure, yeah.
He's the first overall pick no matter what.
That's funny. Okay, moving on. Let's go to Georgia. I am going over on Georgia as well.
Yeah. Just too good. And that quarterback, he played well when he had to, when they lost Beck last year.
Looking at this schedule, they could lose to Texas and they could lose to Alabama even and still hit 10 wins.
Yeah.
I just think that they're going to be there. The last team's Bama, and I think I'm going under.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, one of them had to go under.
I think Bama loses one of those toss-up games. They either lose at South Carolina, they lose against LSU,
Yeah.
they lose against Oklahoma, they lose the Iron Bowl, they use to Tennessee,
Hmm.
at Missouri. They lose one of those games.
It's South
Um,
Carolina. That's gonna be South Carolina's Super Bowl.
they lose to Georgia, but they have to lose two of those games. Is really the problem. But I just don't really believe last year. Like I
I
said,
don't
they
either.
lost some they shouldn't have lost. I just think it's going to happen again. They've not proven they can take care of business against worse competition than them.
Yeah.
And I think until they do, it is what it is.
Saban was a special coach. He did not let them fall into trap games. There was
Yep.
never, like they went in with the mindset that they could lose any game under Nick Saban, and they treated it like a business trip every game, whether they're playing Vandy or Georgia. I don't know if DeBoer has that same kind of command of this team. Like,
We'll
I
see.
don't know. Yeah, I don't
Everyone
really. I
can
just
say
don't
whatever
believe
they
in him.
want in the offseason. And when it comes down to it, you lost to Vandy, you lost to Oklahoma,
Exactly.
lost to
Yeah,
Tennessee.
those are just games
It is what it is.
Saban doesn't lose.
No one cares if you beat Georgia if you lose to Vandy.
Right.
Turns out, yep. So there we are. I feel pretty good about that. I'm not buying the Alabama hype. Call me
I'm not
biased
either.
if you want. I probably am to an extent. I think I could pretty fairly say I don't like any of those teams. I'm trying to be an unbiased observer here. I think I'm looking past the Alabama name. I think this is a totally different team. I don't think you can even be under the same umbrella anymore
Yeah.
as Alabama. I just think you can't treat them as a Nick Saban team anymore because they're not. So I think people give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit too much sometimes. I could be wrong on that. But you know what? That's all we put our takes for everyone to listen to. So they can make fun of us later.
That's right. And if they're wrong, guess what? You'll never see them again.
We will scrub them from the internet. Okay. So now that we have finished that exercise, I think we got some game of the weeks to talk about. We have some
Yeah.
real life football games coming up this weekend, and some big ones. We've mentioned a lot of them already, but there was a couple on the schedule we need to talk about a little bit. Do you have one you want to start with?
I mean, the big daddy of them all, starting us off at noon on Saturday, right? Ohio State,
It is the one.
Texas.
Huge game.
I mean, not often do we get a first game of the year that could have top 20 or like top 5 implications for the whole season.
Yep. It's a very fun. I mean, last year we kind of had a game like this, but it went pretty bad.
Pretty
Georgia
quick.
smoked Clemson very fast. I don't think this one will fall this way. This is not a neutral site, which makes it a little more entertaining, honestly.
Yeah.
We got some new quarterbacks that are going to get to stretch their legs a little bit. Some big time players. Like 10 said, we have maybe 3 or 4 of the top 10 odds to win the Heisman on the field that are going to be on the field in the first game of the season together. So very exciting stuff.
Yeah. I
Two of the
mean,
most talented teams in the country by far.
for sure. Yeah. I mean, littered offensive or future like first round draft picks, both sides of the ball for both teams. Like this is,
Definitely.
I need it to be a good game. If it's a blowout, I'm
Either
giving
way.
up on
Yeah.
whichever team that is. Congratulations, you are officially stamped a fraud after week 1, and I will have nothing to do with you the rest of the year.
Week 1 games are so interesting too because teams are figuring it out still. I mean, Ohio State proved that last year. They looked rough at times, and then all of a sudden, come playoff time, they've figured themselves out and they just destroyed everyone. And I think that's
Yeah,
a possibility. But if you remember, this is a rematch of the semifinal game last year. Texas barely lost to Ohio State and lost out on a spot in the national championship. So a little bit of a grudge match, a fun rematch here. In week 1, the line tens is -2.5. Who do you like in this one?
I didn't know what to think of this game because, like I said, it opened up Ohio State as an underdog coming off a national championship at home. I just didn't buy into that. I thought this number would flip. It did. It did it completely 360 because now Ohio State is favored by 3.5 after they named their starting quarterback. I don't know his name. I saw his profile picture, and yeah, that's interesting. He looks like a really nerdy little guy. Looks like a kicker, to be honest with you. Does not look like Ohio State quarterback.
Julian Sayin.
Yeah, Julian saying. The, and I told Zach this before we started. I said Ohio State has the best two players that are going to make the most impact on a football team this season that are not quarterbacks on each side of the ball. Caleb Downs, the safety for Ohio State, virtual top 5 draft pick. I do not see a world where he is not that after this season. And then Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver for Ohio State. I mean, everyone knows about him. He is a freak of nature. That
Yes.
being said, I've gone back and forth. I don't know. I don't know how much I believe in Arch. This will be a really big test to begin with.
It would be.
I went in to even before we started recording. I think I even told Zach. I said I think I like Ohio State. I'm on Texas. I think Texas has got it. I think Texas has a very good defense. They've got two really good pass rushers that are first round draft pick talents. And I think they have the edge at quarterback. I think, I don't know. I mean,
Who knows?
I got enough out of Arch last year to know that he's not going to be a scrub. And I think he kind of
Definitely not.
puts himself on the map. This is his first big game under the lights, and I think he's going to show up. So I will be we'll be giving out picks and all that in the Discord and fun stuff on TikTok come in. But I'm gonna take Texas.
I agree. I think Texas, especially being the underdog here, you feel like this is the stage is set for Arch Manning and company to kind of make a splash. You think Arch Manning's been thinking about this game for a long time. I just don't think he's going to come out flat. I think he's
Yeah,
going to come
I
out
don't either.
excited. I think they're going to come out wanting to make a statement after last season. I think Texas probably is the most talented team in the country, and I think they're going to want to prove it. Now, it's going to be tough on the road, but I think it'll be a fun game. I think Arch Manning has a good game. I
Yeah,
agree
I
with you.
do. I think though, if there's some sloppy turnovers, then I think they could kind of fold pretty quick. Is the other part. I think the pressure, if he lets the pressure get to him, then it could get bad quick.
It's true. Very true.
But I just don't see that happening. I think Arch is going to, like I said, I think he's going to kind of put himself on the map as like the quarterback.
Well, there is another big time matchup on Saturday with two. Unlike this one, it's two quarterbacks with lots of starting experience facing each other. That'll be LSU playing at Clemson. This is two of the honestly premier quarterback returns. Nussmeier, after what was not a great season last year, but he did play the whole season. He has a lot of experience versus Cade Klubnik, who has been touted as Heisman hopeful on a Clemson team that a lot of people are saying have national championship potential. Shaping up to be a fun matchup. You've heard the narrative continue to go for LSU and Brian Kelly of this is the year. You have the talent, you got the guys, you have to win, or else Brian Kelly's job is on the line. I've heard the narrative if Brian Kelly has an 8-win season, he's gone.
Yeah.
It's like playoff or he's done, which is not a very fun place to be in for him. It's a lot of pressure on this game. Playing a very good Clemson team on the road, first game of this season. Tins, what do you think about this guy?
give me Clemson. Give me
Yeah, you're
Clemson
down on
in a
LSU.
route. I'm very down on LSU. I'm not a Nussmeier guy. I'm for sure not a Brian Kelly guy. I think you could very quickly see this LSU team kind of turn on him. They know that, like
He's on the
as
way
far as
out.
college kids go, yeah, if they think you're going to get fired, they're going to start protecting themselves. The transfer portal is real. He's already. I feel like he's coming in on the hot seat because he lost Bryce Underwood, right? That's his name, the quarterback prospect to
Starting for
Michigan,
Michigan.
starting for Michigan. Yeah. So I just do not believe in Ryan Kelly at all. Yeah. Give me Clemson. I'm gonna smash Clemson.
I think this maybe storyline is similar for Clemson of Cade Klubnik coming out and having a really good day, and kind of just lighting up LSU's defense. You think that's
Yeah,
a possibility for sure
I
of
do. I do.
starting his Heisman campaign as well, having a really good day. I just don't see Nussmeier doing that. I don't see Nussmeier coming out and just lighting up Clemson. That's just not an outcome I foresee
That's
happening. So I
same.
think I'm also. What's the line? Is it significant?
Clemson -4.
See, I'm on Clemson on that.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy. I think I would be interested at minus like 7.5. I just don't. I'm with you on LSU, but again, hope that's a fun game as well. Ted, you got any other games you want to talk about?
Yes, there was one.
I know Notre Dame Miami is on Sunday night.
Yeah, which will be.
What an interesting game that one is.
I know. Hopefully, what time does that one start? Because
I
we'll.
think it's late. I think it's 7:30.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say we could be still drafting, but no, we'll be done. No, I can't. I should have wrote it down. That was dumb of me. Oh no, that's
Another game?
there. Yeah, there's one. It was a Big 12 game, but I think I got it. I think I had it too scrolled too far down on DraftKings. Yeah, no, there's nothing else really sticking out to me. I feel like they did a good job. They've got a big time game in each time frame, and then just kind of your usual week one stuff. Out. I mean, oh, were we going to talk about Alabama, Florida State?
Oh, yeah. We talked about it a little bit. I think that's a good
Yeah, we
one.
talked about it in the preview.
Boise State also plays on Thursday night. Fun game.
Boise
Top
State.
25 Boise State.
Are they really? That's
Yep.
just
Number
respect out of
25.
last year.
They're number 25. Yeah, let's do it. We can quickly hit Florida State, Alabama. It's a 13.5 point spread in favor of Alabama
Yeah, that's crazy.
in Tallahassee. It's at 3:30 Eastern on Saturday. Again, all the storylines there, they write themselves a little bit. Florida State's coming off of, I mean, probably one of the worst seasons compared to expectations ever. Maybe the worst.
Yeah, they started out
Compared
as a
to
top 10
where you
team.
started. Just terrible all around. They have this transfer quarterback in, all the talent in the world there. But playing against an Alabama team who is got some new staff, has a new quarterback, some great talent, one of the most talented teams in the country, but also a team that's a little bit an interesting spot. So I think that's a very, very fun game. I honestly like Florida State to keep this one pretty interesting. I don't think Alabama's going to run away with this. I don't. They might. I mean, that's obviously a potential. They win by 20, 28 or whatever, and it's never
I
close. But
yeah.
I hope Florida State keeps it close.
Um, I know I trashed him. I trashed him pretty hard.
You did.
I don't.
You went in hard on him.
I did. Uh, that being said, they're not 13.5 point underdogs at home to start the season.
That's my thing. They're at home.
Yeah,
At first game of the season, no one is playing at their best right now.
he's
There's a
played a lot of
brand new
football.
quarterback, and in Alabama. I think this is a spot that Alabama should be pretty nervous in. I think Florida State keeps it close, and all of a sudden, in the end game, makes it interesting. So,
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. If it was 10, if it was 9.5, I'd probably lean Bama, but
I agree.
13.5, yeah, give me the team at home.
Then I guess the last game, I don't know that I even. Well, we can talk about it a little bit. Notre Dame, Miami,
Okay.
Carson Beck.
Where is this game being played?
I think it's in my. That's a good question. I'll be honest with you, Tim. It's one of my hottest takes I have right now.
I know. I know it. I know you're buying into the to
I'm
the
not sure
Carson
why.
Beck.
I don't know why.
Not
This
either.
game is in Miami. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
Zach,
I. What's the line on this?
let's find it. Let's find it.
I don't know why I like Carson Beck. I feel like
Notre
the line
Dame
is
-2.5. It's
that
at
is so
Miami.
few points.
It's in
For the,
Miami.
yep. Man. Here's the thing about Carson Beck. Here's why I like him.
Okay, here we go.
He was on a good Georgia team. Received a lot of hate.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many mediocre Georgia quarterbacks there's been that are beloved by the team now? Stetson Bennett,
Jake Fromm
uh,
selling insurance
guys who
officially.
were system quarterbacks came in, played in the little system, and were successful. And now they are heroes in Georgia. Carson Beck gets the opposite treatment. Everyone hates him. He leaves to go be with his girlfriend in Miami. His girlfriend leaves, and they
Oh
break
no, she's
up.
still there.
They're not together though, right?
Right. They
This was
broke
part
up
of my
because he's
narrative.
cheating.
Okay.
He was cheating on her with the
Uh,
TikTok star.
I never said
Did
he
he
was a
not
good
think
guy.
he didn't think that was gonna get blasted on social media?
I never said he had good character.
Right.
I think he's playing with a chip on his shoulder.
Right.
I think
His
he's playing
Lamborghini
with
got stolen this
something to
offseason.
prove. He just feels like that kind of guy who never really fit into Georgia. He's in Miami now. He can kind of do the weird stuff. I just feel like he's going to be given freedom to kind of go play whatever he wants to do. And I think there's a potential where he's going to have some fun and they're going to mess around and be pretty good. I could be really wrong. I could be. This could be a terrible take. It just feels like there's something there. Um, that's my
Yeah.
take. I don't know.
I'm on the exact opposite side of the earth as Zach. Um I'm no Notre Dame fan,
No, I hate Notre Dame as
but
well. Yeah.
they have a guy who could be this year's Aston Genty running back phenom Heisman candidate. Um, and I
Ugh.
just can't believe in Miami. I just can't. This is a team that I believed in so much last season. I had
Mm.
futures on them before the season started. Um, and then they just, they ruined it for me. This is just not a team I'm gonna believe in ever.
See, I
So
wanted to go Miami, and then I saw the line was only 2.5, and I was like, ugh. I don't think they're actually going to win. I just think it could be close. So I don't think I could bet on Miami there, but I think Notre Dame wins. But I think Carson Beck could get like 4 touchdowns and have a really good game, and Miami could still get crushed. Yeah, I don't know. It's a
yeah,
fun game
no,
on Sunday night, though. I think
that is, yeah.
it'll be an interesting time slot. They get it to themselves. No NFL on yet, obviously. So
No NFL, yep.
I
And
think
we'll have
that'll be fun.
South Carolina plays earlier that day against Virginia Tech.
There's some pretty. That's another pretty low key, a little bit of a pretty good game
Yeah, important game.
for sure. South Carolina can't lose that game
No,
if they want to push for any kind of playoff spot.
I didn't realize they were ranked 13th.
Yeah, they're pretty high.
Start the season.
Lenore Sellers. Are they? The AP really favored teams with returning quarterbacks,
Yeah,
like LSU, South Carolina, Clemson. They got the benefit of the doubt when it comes to like Florida as well. They just, if they had a returning quarterback who was a known commodity, you got a big bump in the AP poll.
Indiana fading them all year. I'll go ahead and tell you.
Nebraska, I've heard kind of frisky. People
I
like
might be a little.
Nebraska.
I might be in on Nebraska.
Fake Patrick Mahomes is back. Their offense is apparently going to be pretty good. That's what the streets are telling me.
That's what the streets are saying, man.
Okay. Tens, you got anything else? What do you got?
Nah, that's it.
I feel
Other
pretty good.
than yeah,
Big week, big weekend.
big week, huge weekend. Week 1, you got to get it started. Um, we'll be live in the Discord. Come join to chat for fun, or if that doesn't float your boat, just DM us and ask for our cell phone number. We'll put you in the group text with the next
Yep.
guy at fan club. We don't care.
We got a live. Usually have a little bit of a live thread going throughout the games on Saturday
Yeah,
and Sunday typically.
me and Zach
Um,
find ourselves on a lot of the same bets and trying to talk to our teams into winning those bets. So if you'd like to join that, it's pretty
Shout out to
fun.
Kansas State, who
Oh, cowards.
this is a pretty bad start. Yeah, me and Tiz were at Kansas State.
After
You can't
trashing
win
them
them
this
all,
summer.
folks. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're
Yeah,
excited, guys. A
yeah,
huge week
football's
coming up.
back.
Be back with us. We will be breaking all of it down next week. We'll be in the Discord. We'll be on TikTok. Right? Tins has been putting up clips and things like that. So follow us there, support us. We are very excited for this football season coming up, and we hope you are too. So may all your teams win, unless you are a Notre Dame, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Texas fan.
Enemy of the pod.
Ohio State. Oh, pretty much all those teams.
Pretty much everybody.
Okay, we will see you next time.